Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Lena Gilbert, who is spearheading a special night coming up at the Kernels on the 23rd of June, Jewish Heritage Night. First off, welcome, Lena.
Thank you so much, Dennis. It's always a pleasure to be here.
You've been a guest on the show many times before. We've heard, you had a chance to find out more about your parents as Holocaust survivors and their story, which has been told many times during Holocaust Remembrance Month. And this is an opportunity to celebrate many aspects of Jewish heritage.
Yes, well, once again, I hatched an idea from out of nothing. This year, 2022, marks the 100th anniversary of Temple Judah in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is the Reform congregation that was founded after there had already been an influx of Jewish people into Cedar Rapids much earlier. Cedar Rapids has been home to a Jewish community since 1856, but it was in the early 1920s, that the Orthodox congregation had a number of members that wished to establish a more liberal Reform congregation, and Temple Judah was born. And so, considering that it's our 100th anniversary, and the Cedar Rapids Kernels have been around for 100 years, I thought, what a great way to combine the two entities, and came up with this event. Plus, it's really not an original idea, I gotta admit. I am a major Giants fan, and every year I go back to San Francisco several times during baseball season and go to Giants games. And they have a cultural night at Oracle Park, literally for every culture you can imagine. In fact, tonight, my sister's going to the game. It's Irish Heritage Night. Well, last summer, I had the good fortune of being able to go to a Giants game on Jewish Heritage Night. So this really isn't an original idea, but I thought, again, because Temple Judah is celebrating its 100th anniversary, hey, why don't we have a Jewish Heritage Night in Cedar Rapids at the Kernel Stadium? I pitched the idea of having Jewish Heritage Night to Kernels management, and they loved the idea, and they loved all of the details that I was weaving into the evening. For example, and of course, if anybody's going to come to the game, they want to make sure to get there early, because most of the Jewish Heritage special events are going to occur right at game time.
Sure, before the game starts.
Before the game starts. Robbie Cooper, who's a longtime Temple Judah member, his parents were members, his grandfather was a member. His grandfather, in fact, was a famous judge in Cedar Rapids, Morris Nathanson, who married my sister and her husband. Anyway, Robbie Cooper, local young, aspiring musician, singer, songwriter, among other things. He's going to sing the national anthem, and if we're lucky, and if he feels confident enough, he's going to also play it on his electric guitar, which I think will be phenomenal. Then throwing out the first pitch is going to be longtime Cedar Rapidian. Everybody knows Steve Ginsburg from the great Ginsburg family. Many generations of Ginsburgs have been part of the Cedar Rapids, not only Jewish community, but the community in general, having store locations throughout downtown and other areas of Cedar Rapids, have been very philanthropic, involved in the arts. Steve's mother was a great supporter of what was then the Cedar Rapids Symphony. And so Steve is going to throw out the first pitch, but there's a little twist. He's going to throw out the first pitch with a bagel. Now, that is an original idea.
You did not steal that one from the Giants.
I did not steal that from the Giants. When they have Jewish Heritage Night there, usually a cantor sings a really moving rendition of the national anthem. And we're looking forward to hearing Robbie. We're looking forward to seeing Steve. He's a left-handed pitcher. So
increasing the degree of difficulty.
Yes. So left-handed pitcher with a bagel throwing out the first pitch. And then with a little luck, depends on people's flight times and this and that, another longtime family in Cedar Rapids affiliated with Coe College, the Fellers, they have Barb and Steve Feller. One of their children is coming in from the East Coast who are big baseball fans. They are bringing their little kids and the grandchildren of Barb Feller, if the flights arrive on time, they're going to be saying play ball in Yiddish.
Yeah.
So we have what I hope to be, a very entertaining and lighthearted evening of Jewish heritage at the ballpark. There won't be a quiz. No one will be asked to recite the 4 questions that we say at Passover. There'll be no Torah readings. There won't be any religious aspects to the evening. It's about the cultural connection of Judaism and Jews in Cedar Rapids. Again, Jews have been in Cedar Rapids since 1856. Temple Judah established in the early 20s.
Well, you mentioned, of course, the Ginsbergs, who've been a family in Cedar Rapids for a long time, and the Fellers. Steve is a professor at Coe College and has shepherded along literally generations of students there. The Jewish community in Cedar Rapids has always been, doesn't always get kind of its due, like the Czech community or even Lebanese. We know a lot about those communities, not so much sometimes about the Jewish community.
Well, I do happen to have a list with me of many. It's probably not inclusive of every Jewish business in town. And like myself, I'm an independent contractor. I happen to be Jewish and a real estate agent, but I'm affiliated with a firm that isn't a Jewish family. But there is a long, long list.
All the Beckers, a Guarantee Bank.
David Fidlar, a merchant tailor back in 1856. The Lobenstein family, also merchant tailors, 1863. Another tailor, Oscar Solomon, back in 1870. Smulikov's Furniture Store,
Sure,
established in 1894. Oshman Hide and Trade, Hide and Wool, which is still in effect a business today, but operating from other locations. They established in 1895. Bugenstein Star Jewelry, established in 1901. Cedar Rapids Iron and Paper Stock, which later became Rappaport Auto Parts, established in 1907. Liebschen Brothers, established in 1916. E. Conan Son Salvage, established in 1916, where my father worked after they emigrated to this country and settled in Cedar Rapids. He worked there for 38 years. People's Grocery and Market, 1920, owned by the Beckers family.
Yep. Harold Becker always told stories about growing up working in the family grocery store.
Iowa Milling Company, which later became, guess what? Archer Daniels Midland, ADM, established by a Jewish family in 1925. Newman's Newburgers Department Store, established 1927. Liebschen Furniture, 1930. Ginsberg's Jewelers, 1930. May's Drug. Few people know that May's Drug Store, established by a Jewish family in 1930. The other day I was cleaning out my garage, getting ready for a garage sale, came across a cookbook that was put together by the women of Temple Judah and the Hadassah organization that was May's Drug Family and Friends Recipes. Have that in my cookbook collection. 1936, Cedar Rapids Carton Company, which later became J.P. Gasway Paper Company, still in business today. 1940, Handler Motor Company. 1940 also, Siegel's Jewelry, still in business today. 1946, Cat Salvage and Auto Parts. 1946, good family friend Al Berger established Berger Furrier. And in 1960, Frank Maggot and Associates, established in Marion, and in 1980, BVS Bank Training, still in existence today. So, a long list.
The history of the Jewish community in Cedar Rapids is the history of Cedar Rapids, really. Yep.
Yes, indeed. And what better way to commemorate, to partner with Cedar Rapids Kernels, who have been around also for decades. First began play, and I'm not an official representative of the Kernels, but it's easy to get access to some very common basic information. 1890 was when the Kernels played their first game, played 110 seasons. Some very notable players have come through the Cedar Rapids ranks. My favorite, Chili Davis, was a 3-time MLB All-Star. Most people may not know, got his start in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with the ball club here. Long list, as I'm showing you in the studio, a long list of players, probably about 50 players have come out of Cedar Rapids and have become MLB All-Stars or MLB players.
June 23rd, a special night at the ballpark celebrating Jewish Heritage Night with the Cedar Rapids Kernels, and a lot of fun activities. Have a chance to meet some folks maybe that you know or know a little bit, or maybe just know by reputation. Lena, this is a cool idea. Thanks for organizing it.
Game time 6:35. Tickets are still available at Kernels box office or by going online.
All right, Lena Gilbert, thanks for being here.
Thank you, and go Kernels.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.